Hey, Coach, can you tell us about a couple injuries, KJ Hamler, or why he wasn't there, I guess, and then what happened with Todd Davis?
KJ's got a hamstring that he's been trying to work through. He hadn't been able to do that, and he'll be on the shelf for a couple weeks.
And then Todd Davis, any info?
Todd hurt his leg there. I wasn't sure. It kind of happened towards the end of practice on the other side of the field from where I was at. I'm not sure yet. I don't have anything to report there.
And then with vets, guys like Von Miller, Melvin Gordon, do they end up getting maybe pitch counts, not full rest days, but because it didn't seem like they were too –
Vaughn tweaked his elbow, so we pulled him out. And Melvin tweaked his ribs, so we pulled him out too. Don't know the severity of either one.
Next up, Mike Kliss, go ahead, please.
Yes, Vic. What did you think overall of the practice today?
I thought it was a good practice. We got a lot done, covered a lot of situations within the scope of practice, and it's going to be good tape to watch and learn from. You know, we got to squeeze all these situations in here in this short period of time, so we do have to go faster in that area of it. So it was a good practice in that regard, and overall I thought it was pretty good.
Next up, Arnie Stapleton, go ahead, please.
Hey, Vic, I know you said before camp that you thought Garrett Bowles having Mike Munchak for a second year in a row would benefit him. I'm wondering how you think he's done so far in these couple of weeks.
I think he's done fine. You know, obviously he can do better. But I think overall it's been a good camp for him thus far. But I still think he can do better than he's done so far.
Okay, and then secondly, do you know right now who your starting running back is, or is that something that needs to play out during camp as a true competition?
No, that will play out. And I anticipate them both playing enough to where you really don't have to designate a starter.
Next up, Ryan O'Halloran, go ahead, please.
Hey, Vic, follow up on Melvin Gordon. When you prepared for them last year, what stood out on tape and what challenges did he present?
Well, I think he's a good running back in that he runs with good power and a combination of elusiveness too. You know, he can lower his pads and get the extra couple yards. He can juke and make a guy miss that way. I think he's got really good running instincts. I think he's a competent blocker and a good receiver too. So we're happy to have him.
Next up, Jeff Legwell, go ahead, please.
Vic, I'm just curious, when you were thinking about how you were going to work Jerry Jeudy into the offense, did you want him to learn one spot, or did you want him to are you teaching him all the spots right now simultaneously?
Right now we're teaching him all the spots for two reasons. One, find the best spot for him, not only for him individually, but for us as a unit. What's our best combination? And two, it's always good guys need to know other spots, because in a game, when you're only dressing 4 or 5, things happen. Guys have to be able to know more than one position. So it's twofold.
Next up, Eric Dalala, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Coach, you talked at the end of last year about the offense being more explosive and being able to score in drives that weren't 10, 11, 12 plays. So far, do you get the sense from the offense that they're progressing in that direction to be able to, have a 3, 4, 5 play scoring drive?
I think we can. I think we're capable. I've seen flashes of that in this first week. For me to declare that we're there yet would be premature, but I do see flashes of it.
Next up, Zach Stevens, go ahead, please.
Hey, Vic, Kareem Jackson and A.J. Boye both praised Jerry Jeudy's route running abilities. Have you been as impressed and even surprised at how good he's been as a route runner?
He is a good route runner. That was obvious watching his college tape. He's got a good feel for it, but, he's going to have to be able to bring that up to the next level, against press coverage, against the various different coverages that he'll see in the NFL. He'll see more than he saw in college. So he's going to have to adapt that ability to bring it to the next level. He's not there yet, but I think should be able to.
Next up, Kyle Newman, go ahead, please.
Hey, Vic, what are your initial impressions of DeMar Dotson, both just in his grasp of the offense, settling in at tackle, and in terms of what he's got left in the tank as a veteran?
I think he's got enough left in the tank there. I do. He's got a good body build. He's tall. He's lean. He's obviously very experienced. He's played a ton, got good length. He's a good guy. He seems like he'll be a very good teammate. And I think at the late stage that we got him, it was a good addition.
Next up, Troy Rink, go ahead, please.
Coach Fangio, I know you don't like skirmishes in practice, but to see the exchange of Sutton and Lindsey kind of going back and forth with Jackson, do you like that intensity when you're trying to kind of ramp things up where guys, is that competitive? Is that healthy? Or where do you see that as a head coach when guys are kind of jawing, but in a way that looks like it brings out the best in them?
Yeah, I think it's good. I encourage it as long as it doesn't get over the top to where it could be instigating a fight. But there's nothing wrong with a little trash talking during practice. When I was a defensive coordinator, I was a pretty good trash talker too myself. But as the head coach, I have to tone it down a little bit.
Next up, Nick Kosminer, and a few more after that. Go ahead, Nick.
Nick, I'm just curious your impression so far of the rookie wide receiver Tyree Cleveland and what you've seen from him to this point and where he kind of needs to improve right here at the start.
You know, I've liked him so far. And what I've liked is I think he's gotten a little bit better each day since he's been here, all the way back to the early group of training camp. And I just think he's gotten a little bit better and better each day. I like his demeanor. I like his work ethic. I think he's a guy that will bring special teams value if he's a guy that suits up on game day, if he makes the team. And so I like where he's at right now. Hopefully he won't level off, and hopefully he'll continue to improve.
Next up, Romy Bean, go ahead, please.
Vic, a little earlier we're talking about Garrett Bowles. You said he thinks he's done fine, but you'd like to see him do better. Just curious if you can expand on what more specifically where you'd like to see him do better before week one.
Just a little bit in every area, you know, just play a little bit more physical, play a little bit more decisive, play a little quicker in executing his assignment, and, you know, and then finish each play. And I think he's on the way to improving that way, but it's still a work in progress.
Last one, Lindsey Jones, go ahead, please.
Hi, Vic. I was curious how you're structuring this, where you're trying to balance the reps that your first team offense and defense needs with also trying to figure out who's going to figure out the rest of the roster. And then for those guys who are on the bubble, what can they do here to really impress you and your staff when they're not getting as many reps as they typically would in camp?
Well, we're trying to get them enough reps. They're not getting as much as the ones, but we think we're getting them a good amount in the amount of time that we can be out there. So, you know, we're trying our best there, but obviously they got to take advantage of every rep that they do get to execute it, you know the assignment, play it with the right technique, and then be able to finish it with talent. And we're cognizant of that problem that you are alluding to. Like, I think we've had a good first week of camp as far as what we've been able to accomplish in practice. But then you look at it, well, it's really not the first week of camp because, I mean, it's the first week of camp, but the end of the first week of camp is closer to the first game than normal. So, you know, we just got to constantly play that fine line of getting the team ready, also with getting enough snaps for everybody to evaluate, because one of the most important things we have to do is pick the 53-man roster.